I've helped over 103 people scale their business past $5,000 a month. I have a little tracking sheet, and as of the other day, I crossed past that 100 mark, now at 103. And I've also helped roughly 30 to 40 businesses cross past a $10,000 per month mark. These are service-based businesses, agencies, coaches, consultants, freelancers, whatever you want to call them. Typically service-based. I'm not talking about your average e-commerce store. I'm talking about businesses in which they're selling a skill set as a service. Over about 35, I think roughly on the 40 side now, scale past $10,000 per month. And in doing so, I've realized that loads of people want to cross that $10,000 a month mark. I don't exactly know why. It's like a mental milestone that a lot of people have because Iman Gadzhi said it in a video at some point. Have no idea. But nonetheless, that's a big mental milestone that so many people want to hit. And they kind of like measure that as like a point of success. Although I promise you, the difference in your life between $6,000 a month to $10,000 to $11,000, practically nothing. To be honest, all you actually do is pay more taxes, but that's not the point. That's a mental milestone that so many people are aiming for, and I hear it every single time I bring someone onto my coaching program. They're like, I want to hit that $10,000 a month mark, and they don't even have a reason why. In this video, I'm going to give you 3 of the main things that I've kind of boiled down and realized since coaching a bunch of people getting past that $10,000 a month mark, how to actually do it. And I'm going to give you the 3 biggest levers that I pull within people's businesses, and I tell them to pull within their own business that scales them past that $10,000 a month mark. I mean, I jump on a call with some people and literally make them change these 3 things, and their business will go from $4,000, $5,000 a month to $15,000 a month like that. And I know it sounds like I'm Houdini. I'm not, but what I am saying is that you don't have to do much in a business to go from $5,000, $7,000 a month to $10,000, $12,000 a month. You are literally changing a few minor things that have a major output. It's all about finding a leverage within your business. But in this video, I'm going to use my trusty kind of like whiteboard sheet of paper that you can see here, and I'm going to write out those 3 main things and kind of elaborate on them for you. So ideally, after this video, you can start taking action on those 3 things, implement them yourself, make the changes you need to make. And if you're at that kind of like 5K plus a month mark and you're trying to hit that 10K plus a month mark, stay with me for the next 15-20 minutes. I have no idea how long this is going to be, but I promise you, you may walk away with a completely different business as a result. The first lever that you can pull within your business that's actually going to make a difference, that's actually going to give you an outcome, is, you guessed it, mindset. 90% of the people that I talk to, especially those who have a business that's kind of hitting 5 to 7, potentially even 10K per month mark, but they can't seem to break past. It actually comes down to the limiting beliefs that they have that is stopping them from surpassing that 10K per month mark. And I know it sounds ridiculous, and these limiting beliefs can be so simple. It can be, am I someone who deserves to cross 10K per month? Like, these limiting beliefs, I promise you, will cripple you unless you can eliminate them as early as you possibly can. And the way to eliminate these limiting beliefs is to question everything. Because if you really think about it, your beliefs are what create your actions, and your actions are what got you to where you are right now watching this very video. And therefore, if you want a different outcome within your life, if you want to be making more money, you have to rewire your belief system accordingly to actually get the outcome that you want to get. Because you have a belief set right now that is tailored to you making the amount of money that you're currently making. If you're making $1,000 a month, well, guess what? You have a belief set that is tailored to $1,000 per month. If you want a 10K per month belief set, then you need to rewire it. You need to rewire the way that you think about money, about pricing, about structuring your business, about what you're deserving of. Now, the first thing you want to do is surround yourself with people that are much more successful. Your belief that's keeping you at the amount of money that you're making right now is based on your experience. It's based on what you think is actually obtainable. And trust me, when you start to surround yourself with people that are making far more than that, that becomes your new standard. That becomes your new norm. And this happened to me. I mean, I was at about 20 to 30K a month with my coaching program. And then I went and met some entrepreneurs that were making $500,000, $600,000 a month with a coaching program, right? And that didn't just kind of make me think, oh my God, I'm so far away. That's so sad. It made me realize that my mindset is keeping me at 10 to 20K to 30K a month. It wasn't my skill set. It wasn't my knowledge, because trust me, some of these people were far stupider than you. So when I saw people that were making hundreds and hundreds of $1,000s a month, I reframed what I believed was possible. And when you reframe what you believe is possible, you start taking action that's in alignment with that new belief. And this brings me on to my second point. Train to run the full marathon. Now, this is an analogy that I absolutely love, and I kind of made it up myself like a few weeks ago. And what I mean by it is that if you are training to run a marathon and you're only training to run a half marathon, there is no chance in hell that you're going to be able to run a full marathon. The same as with business in terms of like, stop training to hit 10K per month, because that is the maximum you're going to be able to hit. When you train to achieve a goal, your objective is to hit that goal and nothing further, right? You train to run a full marathon. What's a marathon? 24K, something like that? If it isn't, you are not going to train to run 24K and end up running 30K. It doesn't happen because you haven't trained for that. So if you want to hit the 10K a month mark, train and align yourself to hit that 15, 20K a month mark, so that when you do hit that 10K a month mark, it becomes a milestone instead of the end goal. Because so many people are treating 10K a month as the end goal because whoever the fuck said it on YouTube ages ago, oh, 10K, your life changes forever. It doesn't. And the final thing, self-belief. And I want to draw a very quick kind of diagram that will help you better understand this. I know that this is absolutely impossible to read, but basically what it says is doing, believing, believing, doing. And it's like a cycle, right? It keeps going around like that. You need to have self-belief that you can achieve that 10K per month mark. In fact, you need to have self-belief that you can very much surpass that 10K a month mark, because even if there's like a subconscious thing in the back of your head that's telling you, no, you're not going to hit 10K a month, you're not. So this means doing, believing, believing, doing, which basically means that first you do. When you start doing, you make your first 2, 3, 4, 5, 6K a month. Then you start to believe, because you realize, hold, if I can make 6K a month, easily I can make 10K a month, right? And when you believe, you start believing bigger, and then you do in accordance to that new belief, if that makes sense, right? So you do, you realize, okay, 10K a month is possible. And then you believe that more than 10K a month is possible. And then you keep doing it in accordance with that. And then you just keep scaling as a result. It's a knock-on effect. Those kind of 3 things summarized. Firstly, surround yourself with people that are so much further ahead than you if you can. It's a little bit harder, but actually I say it's harder. It's so much easier than it ever was. You know, there's groups, there's communities, there's courses you can buy full of high value entrepreneurs. One in my description that you can check out. Secondly, train to run the full marathon, not the half marathon. Train to punch past your goal. So worst comes to worst, you'll still hit your goal. And thirdly, self-belief. You've got to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, happy days. Good luck. Number 2 is pricing. I know this may be another one you look at and go, what do you even mean? I priced my service when I started my business. I didn't need any help with this. Trust me, you do. And again, bear in mind, I'm basing these 3 things off the biggest changes that I see people can make to their businesses that will help them transform it like that within like 30 to 60 days. So let's talk about pricing your service properly. And I'm talking about properly because if you want to grow a business, there's 2 ways to do it, right? You either get more customers or you charge more. That's quite literally it. And trust me, it's much easier to charge more than to get more customers, especially when you're kind of not getting started, but you're thinking, I want to grow my business. What do I do? First, change your pricing, and then we can look at getting more customers. In fact, I actually missed out on a thing. It's not just pricing, but it's also your offer, okay? Pricing and offer always kind of go hand in hand. That's why I just kind of merge them into one in my head anyway. 80% of people get these 2 things wrong, mainly, right? Because these are like the foundations of your business. Like I talk about it quite a lot, but you really have 2 different aspects of your business. You have the foundations, you have the variables. The foundations are the things about your business that you kind of build out at the start and they stay that way. It's like your pricing, your offer, your actual transformation that you're achieving, you know, your service. That typically is quite concrete, right? You don't change that every other day. Variables are things like your outreach, your ads, your messages, your content. Those things change and adapt based on what's working and what's not. Anyway, these are the foundations. These are like the stilts of your house. And if the stilts of your house aren't built properly, if you ever want to expand your house, let's say that your pricing and your offer is built for 5K a month. That's kind of what it's built for. That's what it's designed for. What happens if you want to scale to 10K a month, right? Your house is built a certain shape to be supported by the stilts that you've built, right? What if you want to do an expansion on your house? You want to build a bigger house. Your stilts aren't going to be able to take that weight and therefore they're going to snap beneath the house, all right? Same thing kind of goes with your pricing and offer. These are your stilts and then your house on top of it is like your business. If you want to expand your business, these 2 things you need to make sure that they can hold up. So let's kind of dive into how we can actually do that kind of a bit more broken down step by step. Charge more. Almost every single person that joins my inner circle, they'll show me their business, I'll audit it and they'll be like, this is my pricing. And I'll be like, double it, just double it and get back to me in a week and let me know how it goes. Because I promise you, people think that, oh, if I charge more money, not as many people are going to buy because it's more expensive. Pricing is extremely based on value perception of your service. In fact, it's the other way around. How valuable they see it is completely determined by whatever you charge for it. You know, if you're an agency, ads agency charging $500 a month as a service charge, right? And there's another agency that is literally exactly the same, but it's charging $10,000 a month as a service charge. You don't really see too much difference between the agencies. You just think that the $10,000 a month one is much more valuable, and you would be completely right. Of course it's more valuable because they're charging more money. Same thing goes with your service. If you want to be seen as more valuable, you need to charge more. You need to stop trying to compete with people. You need to stop charging as well based on your hourly rate, which is a massive problem I see. Do not charge based on an hourly rate because you will run out very, very quickly. Instead, you want to charge based on value and outcome that you're actually delivering to somebody, okay? It's either the outcome that they actually get from your service or it's the value that you're delivering. If you want to increase your pricing, do not charge hourly, charge based on value or outcome. Those 2 things there. I'll write this down as well. So if you want to increase your pricing in your business, firstly, just do it. Typically, you're maybe not confident enough. You haven't done it before. It's not what the market typically charges for it. Maybe you haven't seen anybody else do it, or maybe you haven't got a yes yet for doing it previously, and therefore you're not willing to increase your prices. That's why offer is important. I kind of combine them together because you cannot have a high price if your offer is shit. So as long as your offer is good, then you can price very, very highly. Now, the first thing about your offer is that you need to actually have one. If you don't have an offer yet and you just have a service, like I just have video editing, or I just have photography, or I just have Facebook ads, that's a service. You need an offer, because an offer is something that produces some kind of outcome or transformation. Because if it doesn't produce a transformation, then it's just a service, and a service is never as valuable as an offer. An offer is like what you pack, how you package it up. What's different between you and a guy I found down the street doing Facebook ads? What is it? Nothing. Once you have an offer, you're able to differentiate yourself. You're able to be unique, be different, because you can produce an outcome with a transformation. And you can also add other bits into this where it's like, and it's risk-free, and we do it in half the time, and we do it more efficiently, and we do it blah, blah, blah. That makes it into an offer, from a service into an offer. Service to offer is giving it an outcome and a transformation and a few other nice features that make it worth something. The second thing I want to go through is guarantee and scarcity. Why would someone say no to your service? What's the risk they have to take to actually have your service? Is it going to cost them loads of money? Is it going to take them loads of time? Is it going to cost them resources? What is it? And how can you reverse that? People don't take action because risk is involved. If you want your offer to become a no-brainer and be so good that you can price incredibly high, reverse the risk. You want to try and reverse the risk so that they don't have a reason to say no. Let's say, for example, you want to make money and you have to buy a program to make that money. Well, what if the program said that you don't actually have to pay any money until you win, until you make money? Amazing. The risk of me having to pay money goes out the window. It's quite funny I say that, because actually that's how we work with Inside the Inner Circle. When you win, that's when you pay money, right? You actually pay money when you join, but that money is held in escrow until you actually win. And then if you win, we get the money because we helped you win. If you don't win, then you get the money back. Next thing is scarcity. So scarcity is basically just seeming like, or making it seem like you're decreasing the supply of something, right? So that there's more demand for that thing. Scarcity within your service would look something like you only taking on a few clients over a certain period of time, right? To make it seem like it's more exclusive. You could have like a discount for your service for whatever reason, and you only have it for 5 people. Scarcity is typically on like an amount basis. There is a scarce amount, and urgency is typically based on time. So also, I guess if you wanted to, you could add in urgency in here. Scarcity or urgency works really nicely with a guarantee. That creates like a really nice, well-rounded offer that you can use however you want. So that's what it would look like, right? Increasing your pricing, charge more. Never charge per hour, charge based on value and charge based on outcome, and increase your prices. Your offer is all about going from service to actually having an offer, making sure your offer actually achieves an outcome and a transformation. And then lastly, add guarantee, scarcity, and urgency to your offer. The offer will sell itself because it's so good. The final thing, the final piece of the puzzle that I see most people mess up with when they're trying to scale past that 10K a month mark is systems and processes. Now, systems and processes is something that I've found more and more incredibly more and more important as I get better in business and as I improve, as I make more money. These two things become absolutely imperative, because without your systems and processes, you will crumble. I think there's the saying that you do not rise to the level of your ambitions, but you fall to the level of your systems, or you fall to your systems, right? It's kind of like what is going automatically. So you can call it systems, you can call it automations, processes, automations. You can also call it delegation. It's the whole idea of basically setting up things that just run, they just work, they're automated, they're systemized, they just move, they keep moving. It's not based on the time you put into it, it's not based on the action that you take, they go. Just to go over like a few and what they would look like. When you're looking at processes, for example, you can also call it things like automation, delegation. These are different things, don't get me wrong, but I'm going to kind of like combine them together. So when it comes to you scaling your business and you're looking at processes, systems, automation, delegation, there's a few things that you've got to realize. The first thing is that you are not God, as in you are not the person that can scale a business to $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a month on your own. Just you on your own. You need to start incorporating these things. You need to start incorporating processes, things that you can set up once that just keep moving, keep working, keep flowing. Automations, very similar thing, because you can automate every single part of your business if you wanted to. You can automate lead generation, you can automate outreach, you can automate client acquisition, you can automate onboarding, you can then start to automate fulfillment, you can then start to automate delegating if you want to. This and this is all a process of buying back your time. And as you start to scale, especially past 10K per month, your focus as a business owner needs to be on finding points of leverage that can help you put in less input and get more output, not even less input, but put in the same amount of input, let's say, but get triple to quadruple the amount of output. That needs to be your main focus, because once you scale, you'll start to realize that you are not God. You cannot do everything. You cannot manage absolutely everything. You probably cannot run a $30,000 a month business on your own. You can definitely get to that point, but can you sustain it while still also living the life that you want to live? Because bear in mind, I'm going to assume that you have the same mindset as me, that you started a business because you want to live the life that you want to live on your own terms when you want to live it. If that's correct, you will not be able to do that without these processes here, okay? And start to automate things and delegate things. Delegation is essentially the process of hiring people, finding people where you can delegate tasks to that are far better than you at doing that thing. Automation, again, automating things, letting them run their own. I have a lot of my business automated now. In fact, I've used a lot of this for most of my business. Just to give you an example, right? Acquiring leads, I use a process, okay, of posting content, of running ads. So I use a process to post content. I've actually delegated the process of running ads to actually acquire leads. There's a few other bits that incorporate into this as well. Qualifying those leads, I've delegated the process. I have setters who basically talk to leads and qualify them and make sure they're ticked and suited for my program. Client acquisition, in terms of actually obtaining them, I actually delegate that process to a sales team where they do it for me. Onboarding, that's all done through a system and an automation where they get onboarded properly, they get a contract sent to them, they get access to all the information, they get told the next steps. I have a customer success manager who welcomes everyone into my program, into my inner circle. That's delegation. Fulfillment is kind of through a process and a system, not automated or delegated. I still do the fulfillment because I think it's incredibly important. Like, I jump on one-to-one calls with people, help them scale their business, no matter what it is, service-based business, one-man team, I'll help you out. But that's all done through systems and processes because I know exactly what I'm going to do, how I'm going to help people to get them to the next level, okay? Because I have a process that I run through. I run through a process of auditing their business and breaking their shit down and troubleshooting it and finding out what's working, what their highest points of leverage are, what's their bottlenecks, what's stopping them from growing. That's all done through a process. I then have systems that they can then go through to scale to the next level. The systems are things like the course material, the content they can go through. I also have coaches within my program, and I know I'm not just trying to sell you my program here. I'm trying to show you the real world application. I have coaches in my program. That's all delegated. I have an automations coach, a contents coach, a sales coach, an outreach coach, an ads coach, lots of delegation, lots of automation, lots of processes, lots of systems. I would not be able to run the business, right, at 120, 30K a month that I do without all of these things. And you would not be able to either. Not possible. So if you want to scale past 10K per month, firstly, to fix your mindset. Secondly, you need to fix your foundations, your pricing and offer. And thirdly, you need to start incorporating these things because I guarantee that you're not doing these properly. At least bear in mind, I help people do this for a living all day, every day. Check the link in the description if you want to find out more. No pressure. I'm not going to hard sell you. Oh, do it, please. I won't be able to pay my rent. And I'll see you in the next one.